Okay, time to get warmed up and play some chess. Just had a nice long day at work. Okay, so what's going on here? Let's try this. Gotta be careful about my dark squares here, but I want to add pressure here. It's gonna be awkward to defend since the c-pawn can't move forward. Might just push forward at some point. Okay. Would that be problematic if I had to capture like that? His queen has a nice way in here. I could always push the pawn forward. That could be nice. So we'll see where this goes. If he takes, I take first, and his king is awkward. In this way, he has that issue to defend. Alright, I'll take the bishop pair. I shouldn't take with this pawn. I have to take with this if he does take my knight. I mean, obviously he wants to double my pawns. But does he want to get rid of his light squared bishop? This pawn doesn't want to stay here for long. It's probably going to push. And I always have this move too. Well, my knight can just defend. I guess I didn't think about that move, but I can always push forward and push forward. This bishop has to go that way. I'm gonna have a nice queenside attack. Oh, he's doing that. Interesting. Not minding that trade of queens right now. And I do like that my knight's already pressuring this pawn. My opponent has a very unique and interesting style. So he can't capture castle queenside. Yeah, I figured that would happen. Am I just picking up this pawn now? I mean, what am I missing here? Ah, I see what's going on. I can't push just because he's on this pawn and this pawn. Alright, so I think the logical move is to come here, defending my pawn, putting pressure here, and if he pushes, I actually didn't calculate that line, but I could come to a6 and threaten this pawn, but he just chooses to castle. Now I check. Another positive thing about me capturing towards the center here. And I could check him with my knight winning this pawn, threatening a fork. Very tactical. And the point is, if knight takes, rook takes, and I have the tempo because I'm threatening a fork. Ah, that was a really good move, I think. But actually, that knight's going to be stuck there. Alright, let's do this. So as soon as that knight takes that pawn, my rook takes. Alright, hit my knight. Push the pawn. Right now it's defending this square, that's kind of nice. But it was weak. So now I'm threatening to push this pawn forward again. Not just threatening to, I actually will. Not right away, of course. So my bishop does a great job keeping this knight out of the game. Makes an attack on the F file if I ever get one, you know. I guess it's not really that good, but my point is that this pawn is going to be hard to defend because he can't get a rook over here. And I would like to avoid having him take this pawn. I don't know if that's possible, though. I might just have to live with it. You know, in chess you can't have everything. But if I do develop an attack on this f-pawn with the lines where my rook can take, that'd be nice, but... Okay, so now I can defend this guy somehow. Let's go like this. So those two knights, maybe we might see a knight come back out here. But this pawn's dropping. Nothing he can do about it as far as I can see. Do I just move this pawn forward now? Yeah, I'll do it. Where does that rook plan on going? Oh, he has rook over here. No. Am I planning something here? Good, he didn't see it. I think that would have been a mistake. In fact, to prevent rook over there, I could always put my bishop back, but I don't know if that's necessary. Yeah, that was a blunder. I should not have allowed rook to a6. I'm glad he didn't see that. After this game, I can go over that with an engine, maybe, and we can see if black could have saved his equality. So this knight here in the center is really, I'd have to say it's quite tawdry. Tawdry. It's a word I don't use every day. Tawdry basically means it looks a lot better than it is. Okay, so I'm going to take. Finally. That pawn was there for a long time. Okay, so knight takes knight. Pawn takes. Rook takes. And now we do something cool here. What do I do? Just gonna push up the board. Alright, I'm gonna get here. Take control of the open file. think that was an important move to have to make. Sorry if I didn't commentate for a while. This is the type of game where I can not hold my advantage sometimes. So he has to watch his back rank. And I think what I do is I just push this past pawn and get my king supporting it. Alright, should I force the trade of one pair of rooks? Sure, we'll simplify. Just gonna start pushing my pawns now. Particularly this E pawn. So in attacking his knight, yeah, he's gonna get forked here. Get out of checking range, I suppose. Hit the rook. And he couldn't handle the pressure. Well, now let's look over that with a computer. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and open Fritz. Check out my buddy's cafes.
Hey, thanks for starting me again.
Don't mind Fritz. Alright, so conveniently enough, you guys can see the ratings on the right and my chess pieces. Okay, so was I white here? Alright. Okay, so he played the Albin and I casually just took the E-pawn, which is the main line. He pushes forward, knight F3, knight C6, and here comes the novelty, B6. I mean B3, and that move isn't played often. Usually, apparently, in this position, G3 is played, trying to free the bishop, I suppose. It's not a line I play. So anyways, I played this, and he played the bishop out. Now, I decided to make the bold move of playing E6. Psychologically, he didn't want to take with his bishop, but that would have been the best according to the computer. So there was some psychology here. And F takes, bishop out, bishop takes. Okay, so the computer actually likes E takes, but I was thinking more towards the long term. I didn't want this pawn to keep becoming a menace by pushing forward, being supported on the open file, you know? So, what did the computer have in mind after this? Appears there's a number of plans black can play here. You can play bishop b4 check, queen g6. I mean, sorry, queen g5. So, regardless, bishop b4, knight out. Whoops. Yeah, the knight there was the only move. After pawn forward, I finally achieved equality again. But you know, I just felt like his center was too fragile to be valuable. And these three pawns here just had more dynamism. I mean, I played this game in a way I usually don't play. Usually I try to have a big center, but in this game I really just kind of attacked the center later. And I never had a huge disadvantage, at least as of yet. So I played a3. Was that the best move? That was one of the two. Bishop back, bishop takes, d takes, knight e4, queen's off. Now white's just clearly better with my control on the d file. Put pawn forward, rook d1, knight over. Alright, now this is where I had to get accurate. Knight c2 was the best move here. Or was it? Okay, rook g1. So apparently white has a number of ways to play. I played one of them, and after castle's queenside, I played bishop check. That was good. Was that the most accurate move up there? Knight to d7? Looks like knight d7 was the second best move. Apparently e3 was still good here. What was that all about? After knight takes. King e2. I calculated this far, and then I didn't look after that. So then he has to play knight g5. Then I have bishop g2 with a nice attack on the b7 pawn. So that's an interesting variation. I should have calculated further, I suppose, and I could have had a comfortable game from there. But the way I played was quite nice, too, considering it was Blitz, and I did calculate quite far into the other direction. So, king a8, knight takes b3, I'm sorry, e5, a6, rook over, pawn forward. Okay, so apparently me playing that move, I thought I was being clever. It was a bit of a blunder. I still should have played e3. But what if knight took pawn there? I guess that forcing variation would have been nice, because now black has to do something about this awkward knight. So, okay. But that was basically the motif of that position I didn't even notice. The fact that allowing this knight to capture either of those pawns was okay. But the way I played was quite nice, actually. And so after he played the rook out down there, e3... Oh. Yeah, e3 would have been good again. But I played c5, which is actually just as good almost. Knight back. Rook takes. Knight takes. Pawn takes. Rook takes. Rook d2. Okay. So yeah, apparently I was a bit worried about rook over here. Apparently the computer never thought it was really a problem. And now I just have a huge positional advantage. Did the computer like rook takes rook there? The rook up there, check? Yeah, computer does like it. Just kind of solidified my control of the d file and gave me a tempo. So all in all, that was a pretty accurate game.